So, it's Hallie. Welcome back to Aidyn Action Edition. When we last left off, we were well on our way through the mountains, and we're still there basically. But hold on, let me get situated here just a little bit. All right, turn that up in my ears. Move Troubadour over here so I can see the chat. Make sure no one's talking, because if they do, all right. But before we get started, we needed to take care of some town stuff. And I'm not sure how long we'll be in town, actually, so just hold the phone. I'll just put the town themes on. And we'll see what we need. What was it? We needed, like, we were out of gemstones for one. Did I want to get some spells taken care of? Maybe get you some wizard ranks, so your debilitation could be a little more useful. That sounds like something I wanted. But yeah, definitely need to rectify the gemstone situation. So let's go buy some gems. I can't remember who had them. Ah, crud. Was it you? Was it this place? We'll find out in a second, I guess. You selling gems? You selling the gems, guy? You are, okay. But here's the thing. If I can save some money by becoming a better merchant, that would be pretty great. You're my merchant guy, aren't you? You are. I like train a skill. I've been saving them. Can we get 5? We sure can. But are there any better merchants around? I don't know. Oh, you're merchant 7. A little gold goes a long way. We don't even have enough to train it, even if we could. So, good. There we go. Beacon is level 5 merchant low. No, you shh. Beacon's not gonna be here forever, nerd. Why would I raise his merchant? He needs to worry about magic. Also, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. Glad you could make it so early this time. So anyway. No, you're the one who's going to go to all exhausted. You need to heal Aileron a little bit. Heal Aileron so he can properly haggle. And maybe heal these other people too. They got chipped somehow. Getting rid of Beacon? Good to be here. Well, yeah, his turn is almost up. Once we're done in the mountains, that's basically it for him. Then it'll be Aberkin's turn. You'll see how I structure this as we go along. Boop, boop. But first, we need to make sure Aileron's in top form because he's our haggler. Did we have any items that boost a merchant? Because I don't recall. I guess I would have put them on you in the first place if I did. Develop Beacon, the Uber Elemental Wizard, Firefall Champion of the Priority. No! He's done his part, and then he's going to move on, and other people will get a chance to shine. That's how it always goes. Yeah, I don't know if any of these things actually boosted Merchant at any point, but I forget if they did, and it doesn't look like they do. Let's not worry about it so much. Guy, I need gems. Like, a lot. Like, a lot of gems. See, we got that price down by 4 gold! Kaboom! How many am I gonna need though? Like 25? You think 25 is good? Got like 50 herbs and 30 spices. Yeah, we'll go 30. I want to buy defense potions too. They're 123. It costs 2 gemstones to make one. It's like 120, 116. Yeah, no, they're slightly more. I'd rather just make them. Do I even have any right now? Hold on. What's my defense potions? My defense potion situation is that there are none of them. Okay, so we're gonna want to make some. So we'll just buy the extra gemstones then. Let's make 10 of them, so we want like 20 of these. Another 20. Putting it to 50 after all. There. We'll make 10 defense potions, and hopefully that'll be enough to get us through. who is... You're the person doing the thing, right? Yeah, you are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Screw it. Oh my goodness. 4, 5. Oh, I'm mashing too hard. Good grief, Brenna, stop failing. Since when was alchemy this difficult? What do we got? I lost count. That shop sells defense potions unless you misunderstood. No, they do, but it was cheaper to make them myself until she wasted a bunch of reagents being a moron. Also, I didn't need to make those fire flasks, it just happened by accident. 7, 8. Oh my goodness, 8. 9. Alright, so it definitely would have been less expensive to just buy them with Brenna's performance there, but whatever. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. Let's see what we can do for Beacon and his wizardry. Well, hold on a second. Once again, not knowing what anyone does for anything. Was there an elemental wizard somewhere around town? Not you. Jeez, I would have thought, like, +6. No, not +6. I would have thought at 4 + 2, she'd have been more than good enough for what she was trying to do. Oh well, whatever. Oh, you're already this high of a wizard. We need someone better. You suck, lady. Love all you guys' work you are doing with mods. For Aidyn, I've been looking forward to playing them all, but life has been getting in the way here quite a bit. Hey, Spike Strife, I guess that's you. Would you like me to, like, fire up Discord and start a call so you can talk? I don't know if that would work, or very well at all, or whatever, but I'm willing to do that if you want. Hope you and your loved ones have a happy new year, and 25 brings great things. Yeah, thanks, man. I forgot to go fast, Sonic. You betcha. It's mapped to my controller. It's just another button I use now. Looking for someone who can teach Beacon to be a better wizard. Not you. Not that guy. Hey, lady. No, it doesn't have debilitation, unfortunately, but we can get him to, like, 5. There we go. I don't know if anyone tutors debilitation. If they do, we'll raise it. If not, we'll just go. And we can, like, level them up next battle he's in. Do. So Spikes, you didn't respond. I asked earlier. I don't know if it was just delay or what, but like, do you want me to try and start a Discord call so you can like speak? Aha! You have debilitation. I could tutor him to 6. He's not gonna be around that much longer. Okay, we'll get debilitation 6, and then I'll just be actually kind of good at it. Nice, we've got our beacon, we've got our defense potions. Let's get a move on. Many more things need to die before we're done. We haven't even gone in the caves yet, but the caves are actually just about all that's left at this point. I should probably change the music back to the snow themes. Dude, snow. Back into the cold tundra. Let's see, are we all in top shape? Halloran's slightly injured from haggling. Let's go, Bear. Alright, battle themes and stuff. Can you still purchase Starlight ones from the vendor in the mountain and stack them with defense potions for the ultimate wall of defense? Yeah, Discord call sounds great. I don't think they're selling Starlight Shield anymore, and if they are, it's probably extremely expensive. But here, I will see if we can't make some Discord action happen here. I have never strained my computer for streaming in such a purpose, so if it all goes to hell, you know what happened. Let's see here. Start voice call. I'm gonna allow it. Is it working?
I think so.
I hear you. And I guess that response tells me that you heard me. So I guess we can just go for it. I don't want to approach this bear. You still there? Is it still working?
From the Discord call.
It is working then?
You still there?
I can hear you. I'm still there. Are you still there? I don't know if I need to have this as the active window for it to work. If so, it's kind of an issue.
Oh no! I heard you. I heard you there.
Okay.
Wait, I think I did. But I could still watch the stream at the same time. I just had to mute the stream itself, so I can't hear the nice music, the snowy battle music.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
But I am watching, yes. But yes, I appreciate you and Dobles? I don't know how to say his name.
I don't know how to say his name either, so don't look at me.
Okay. I really appreciate your guys' work and everything. And then there's another guy in the Discord here. Let me see if I can go back. Yeah.
That dragon guy who's working on figuring stuff out? M. Dulos.
Yeah.
So I was saying it right. Hooray! M. Dulos. M. Dulaus?
Dragon thing.
Yeah, that guy. I'm looking forward to him improving the editor to the point where it's actually usable instead of just good for reference.
M. Dulos. Can he hear me or on your stream or just
I
just
don't
me and you?
I don't know. I would assume he can hear me because like Discord is not differentiating between the audio sources from my computer. So like you're on the same audio channel as the game and Troubadour playing the music and all that.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And he just confirmed. He hears us both. Hooray!
He did? Oh, I hear both of you on stream. Oh, perfect.
Yay!
Okay, cool.
I'm glad this is working
So that's great.
without even any issues or prep work at all. That's rare, you know. Usually you try something on computers these days and it's just like, well, good luck.
I haven't messed around with live yet, so yeah, I was curious about that because once I have some more free time, I see what you're doing, I see what Endulos is doing, and then the other guy, and I'm going, wow, I want to play like all of these, and I was thinking maybe I could live stream them on my channel as well. That's there. I got time and they're all finished up and stuff.
Well, you know, I'd love to check it out. I've actually been working on a new Aidyn mod, but it won't be ready for a good long time. The working title so far is the Magic mod, where everything's a little bit magical, and I'm going to get a little more creative with like my changes and stuff. Treat things less sacred, because like where the patch was meant to just like repair the game, and where Plus was meant to make the most of what's there, but still kind of maintain the experience. This one I feel like I can go all out and just like change things as I see fit.
Oh, okay. How have things been? Has anything changed as far as what we can modify and edit in the background, or is it about the same what we can do with the modding tools?
Still the same what we can do as far as I know, but now that Dragonfang has entered the picture, maybe he and Firemaster can figure something out, because Lord knows I don't know anything, but apparently Dragonfang is like well versed in C++, and I'm sure they can come up with something.
Yes, because I've been trying to get in touch with, I forgot his name, the other guy that did the free cam mod, because he had offered to help out Wedoro.
Sounds like you're coming through a little quieter than Hallie. Hold on. That's probably an issue on my end. Let me open my volume mixer. And maybe I'll give Discord a little boost. Oh, okay, no, that's... I can't boost it higher than it is, because it's actually coming through on, it's Firefox. I can't, and Firefox is already at 100. What to do? I guess I could turn myself down a little bit.
I can see my voice settings. Oh, input. Oh, here you go.
Actually, yeah. If you can just raise your own volume, that would probably help.
I put input and then output. So output.
I can't attack anything. Boo. Stupid wolf. Crowding me on here.
Oh, it says my input's already at 100%. I'm trying to see if there's any other way I could move it up. I'm using a third-party microphone too, so I'm like kind of sitting right next to it. I don't want to get too much closer to it, or else it'll start like getting all muffled.
Yeah, just yell. Modify your voice manually.
On Windows 11.
So I wonder if I can turn it up in Discord itself. Hold on. Let me just see. I never work with this thing, so I don't know how it's like. Voice details. No, that's not it. Voice suppression powered by Crisp. Maybe I don't want voice suppression powered by Crisp. Enable Crisp noise suppression. Oh, it's already off. No, that's not gonna do it. Open soundboard. No, that's not it either. That's just silly nonsense.
Nice.
I've got my mic settings. Output device, input device. I can't seem to change anything on your end. Nope, that's the sound effects. Alright, nope. Maybe we can figure something out better for next time. When /
Yeah.
These stinking wolves. Air horns.
But that guy, the dude that did the free camera mod for us, he knows some background stuff, how to do programming and whatnot. He's mainly into the Banjo-Kazooie series, and I actually got in touch with him on Twitter. And he was the one who started helping making that free cam mod, and then you can actually adjust how fast you can run walk in the latest version. I'm not sure if you played around with that or not, have you?
No, I haven't gotten around to that, so I don't know what all has happened with that.
Yeah, he updated it like 4 times, and then that was it. So basically, and I did a review on my channel too, of just like things that I found in the background. Nothing really special, other than like there's a campfire inside of a house that's like way out of bounds. That was about it. But it was interesting to be able to actually see around, I mean, versus what we could already kind of do with the debug version. But I was trying to get in touch with the guy who originally had messed around with the 2 older versions. Apparently who did the decompile deal, and supposedly there's a way where you can modify code and walk through a door, and there was a drop down where you could select where you'll spawn in any new doorway or walkway.
Oh, that's cool.
Game, and I'm going, so it's basically, yeah, like a portal. And I'm going, I wish we could do that with the current version, because the one thing I still haven't been able to solve yet, or get any answers even from all the devs that I've talked to, is what the heck is behind the door on Chaos Island? That hidden door that's rendered inactive, you know?
Yeah. So if we had access to any doors, we could potentially access maps that weren't part of the game in the first place. Or were never integrated into the game, rather. I should like eat first.
That's definitely what I'm after. And I even got with that document that I posted months back, I think it was, for MDLOS, I think, MDLOS, sorry, requested about like game mechanics, the background and everything. I tried looking through it, and there's nothing that says what's supposed to be chaos on Island. So, yeah. Oh, okay, so you can still use and abuse, yes, the healer skill.
I would love to fix this someday. I don't know if I ever will. I'm only using it here because this is not a challenge run and I have no intention of treating this game fairly.
What does Iron Man mean? Because I think you and one other person did Iron Man, and I don't know what that means.
I haven't done it before, but an Iron Man is basically a game where if a death happens, you just accept the death. You don't save scum it away. That sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
They're popular for games like Fire Emblem or other things where you can lose party members permanently, etc.
Got it. Because for me, I mean, now, especially with limited time, I mean, I want to play this again, especially your guys' mods and stuff, but I couldn't see myself going back to, like, playing the original N64 version of the game if I had my old N64, because, like, using F4 and save states and everything is just, like, part of the game now.
I admit, I would find it pretty cumbersome to play on like the actual hardware without being able to speed it up, because being able to run and make magic animations go by quickly is so nice. All I ever played on is emulators now anyway, so it's kind of moot as far as I'm concerned. Ow. I should back off from this guy so he puts away his weapon. It's another thing I'd love to fix if I could. Just fix this enemy AI so you can't really exploit it so easily.
What, like when you skip the AI's turn, they immediately teleport. Like, they choose to jump behind you for their thief backstab damage bonus, right?
Sometimes. It kind of depends on the enemy. Like, how they choose to place themselves. There's some logic to it. Like, I've seen wolves where they will, like, deliberately place themselves such that they will occupy as many heroes as they can before attacking someone. But sometimes it doesn't make sense necessarily where they decide to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you just let them walk, they'll bump into each other and things, and you can avoid getting attacked so much. But I'm so used to hurrying their turns from challenge runs anyway, and that's less time than making them walk anyway. Of course, you could just speed up the walking now if you really wanted to.
I think it was the Kitterak Hobgoblin fight. Like, that was the first. Depending on which enemy, I feel some of them, yeah, they'll just take 2 steps forward and they just stand there and not do anything.
Yeah, and sometimes that'll even happen anyway. And I have some theories about why that happens. It seems like if an enemy has like a spell they want to cast, but they can't tell where the person is, they'll just stand there instead of moving closer or whatever. And there are also some regions of the battlefield where they can't like detect you at all, and it's more prominent on some maps than others. It's particularly noticeable in Chaos Island, where like there's an entire section of the default battle map where they just can't reach you at all. Like if they have projectiles or have spells to cast, but they won't walk over there to get you because as far as they know you're out of bounds. Very exploitable.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I wonder, because a while ago I just showed how you can beat the Hobgoblin fight with the level 1 Aileron in the base game.
Oh yeah,
And
I've done that before.
It's fun.
Yeah, so certain Hobgoblins in the fight with Kidarak, they didn't really do anything, or some of them, yeah, would just stand there, or they would try and attack.
I didn't mean to raise that. I forgot screen out something.
The merchant level.
I boosted my healer, but it's just as well. Now it does 9 instead of 7. Whoa.
Oh, I see. What is there any real advantage over using the healer skill to heal you versus just camping outside?
Well, there's less risk of getting ambushed, and I guess it doesn't advance the calendar. Like, if you have lunar characters and you want to stay within a certain range of the moon phases, it can be a nuisance correcting that through camping. Speaking of camping, I probably should have, to get the daylight back. That's probably why we struggled so much against that commander. Unfortunately, Goblin Robber isn't that dangerous. And you know, Beacon doesn't care what time of day it is. His chops are always good.
I noticed that in a lot of the modded versions, you can change then their aspect ratio then?
You can change with their aspects.
Okay.
That was something I did in Aidyn Alt. I just flipped everyone's aspect, so everyone who was solar is now lunar and vice versa. It had some actually quite nasty implications, because like one of the things you can do in the original game to make things a lot easier later on is to use darkness against powerful solar enemies like Dust Devils and Hellhounds, but in Aidyn Alt, where they're lunars instead, if you want to weaken them, you have to do a lot of camping to get them into a bad moon phase, is basically what it amounts to. And when I was doing my challenge run of Aidyn Alt, I got stuck in Shamsuk's tower with a bad moon phase, and I couldn't sneak past the Hellhounds. I can't remember how many times they killed me, but it was a lot.
That Hellhound fight, yeah, at the top of the tower-ish, well, closer to the beginning of the tower, I don't understand it. Sometimes you can, and sometimes you can't sneak past it, even with a higher stealth rating. It always seems like I still trigger the fight, but sometimes I can sneak past them.
Yeah, it's not impossible to sneak by, but it is difficult. I think that is actually what I ended up doing. I snuck past them, and then took out the rest of the tower and came back for revenge later. But the Dust Elves before them are like just as bad for exactly the same reason, and I don't even remember how I managed to kill those stinking things. The footage is there, I just never revisited it because I don't want to remember. Trauma.
The guy who did the speed run of like 3.5 hours to beat the entire game right now, current world record, he had like, a couple of problems. He was saying like he kept saving and reloading for a couple fights that he was trying to sneak past, just because he said it's just like random. Sometimes it will not work for him to sneak past stuff. So I wonder if it's just jankiness of Aidyn, or what is the rhyme or rhythm behind stealth.
Could be. Great, I failed. It's too early in the morning for casting spells. Yeah, I've never really, like, committed to doing a speedrun, so I don't know all the ins and outs, but I had advised that guy a little bit about, the tower situation, because, like, one of the things he'd mentioned was having trouble consistently defeating the Minotaur Lord with Wall of Bones, and I had told him, well, that's because you set yourself up such that you're on, like, a full moon when you got to the tower to benefit Keelan, but that also benefits all the lunar enemies within the tower, so that made him harder to cast on because his willpower was high enough to, like, resist the spell.
Oh, got it.
So, I don't know how viable it might be, but if he goes, like, one moon phase back instead, that would save a little more time, because it wouldn't have you wouldn't have to camp as many times to get the moon phase you wanted, and it would leave the enemies in a less good spot, but Keelan would still be, like, functionally useful. Like, the moon phases actually make a really big difference when you know how they affect lunar aspected characters and enemies. Because, like, man, there was one time I was trying to take on the bridge fight, and I just could not manage it on the moon phase I was on. It was impossible, and I did just enough camping to shift it by one, and it's cliche to say it this way, but the difference was literally night and day. With how much they were
isn't it?
Succeeding and failing and stuff.
A full moon is like an extra 125% or 75% or something or another to have your successful chance of completing your action. Like, the moon phase is super important, right? More so than for lunar or solar characters, right?
Well, like, I think I don't know the exact numbers because I've never. Maybe Viremaster could look that up somewhere in the code and find it, but it does seem to be quite substantial. I just don't know if it's comparable for solars, because solars are affected entirely by the position of the sun, and for all I know, the entering a combat at noon with solar characters is the same as having lunar characters under a full moon, but it's a lot harder to rig those circumstances for battles. Unless you just cast light, which basically puts the solar bonus as high as possible anyway. Which is why light is one of the best spells in the game.
It's crazy, like, some of the things that were actually going to be in the game. If you're talking to, like, Chris, writer and everything, I even found out that there was going to be, if you played the game Dark and Darker, there was going to be, like, a madness system in the game.
Oh, wow.
Where Aileron slowly falls into madness depending on if you do or don't do certain actions with his shadow self, his other half.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah, I wonder how, like, that would play out, and then on top of, you need to manage, the time of day and everything, too. So, very interesting stuff, what they wanted to do with this game. Have you looked into that document that was posted on the Discord? Like, all the stuff that kind of, like, talks about all the story and everything?
Haven't really. It's the sort of thing I just need to make time for and never got around to.
Same. Like, when I got it, I kind of skimmed some of it, and I saw some of the things. Like, I knew a lot of it just comes down to time, basically, and effort. Time and then limitations of the hardware, because I saw in there, like, even in the battles.
Uh-oh. I think Discord failed. Hold on. RTC disconnected. No. How do I reconnect? What do you mean RTC disconnected? Alright, hold on. Recall. I missed what you were saying about the last thing because Discord had a hiccup, apparently. Can you hear me? Are you there? No! Discord, why? What's the problem? It disconnected again. Oh no. Discord isn't staying connected. Wait, is it working now? Okay, now it says it's working.
Yeah.
Having some technical difficulties. Oh well. Yeah, it looks like it's just gonna keep happening, so I think I'd better just close it. Not sure what's going wrong, but I think we'll have to let it go for now. RTC keeps disconnecting. You can still hear me? That's weird. The problem there is I can't hear you when it disconnects, so... bit of an issue. Should we jump into a channel on the Discord group instead? I don't know if that would help. But I guess we could try. Here, hold on. I'm gonna hang us up. I'm gonna hang this up. We'll go in a voice channel on Tower of Sham so I can see how that works. I have entered Zobman's court, and I see you're already in there.
Yes. Can you hear me now? Is it okay?
I can hear you.
Hey. Okay.
Might even be a little bit clearer, actually.
Oh, really? Nice. Yeah, I was wondering about that, because, yeah, being on the other side of the world, how is, like, the connection? Am I breaking up in and out a lot, or how's the microphone?
I can hear you perfectly clearly.
But for M. Dulos, he said I was quiet. I wonder...
Yeah, but that's because he's hearing you through the stream. So that's like the computer audio going to YouTube, basically. And, like, because Aidyn is such a quiet game, I have to, like, adjust the sound settings to, like, lower everything else so they don't overpower the game, basically. I'd have to do a lot of fiddling to figure out how to make you not be quiet on my end, is basically how it goes. But like I said, I can hear you just fine.
Perfect.
It's just that if I turn up the volume for myself, it's not going to turn up the volume on YouTube. That's how that goes.
Got it. Yeah, all I was saying before, though, is just that document. I haven't gone through it that much either. I would like to get more into it, because a lot of the stuff, there was going to be a lot of things in the game that just it came down to running out of time and limitations of the hardware at the time. So a lot of the things, it kind of just, the more I read it, sounds like the game was going to be like Baldur's Gate 3, all the different things and the way they wanted to customize and make stuff.
Funny you mentioned that. Whenever Chris discovered Baldur's Gate 3, he got super addicted to it and said it is basically everything he had hoped Aidyn could be. Can these guys stop killing Beacon, please? Wow.
Yeah.
Goblins, good grief, slow down.
Wow.
I'm trying to find the one that's weakest. This guy. This guy who had a chance to leave and did not. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Curing potion time. Jerks.
3-on-1, poor Beacon.
They just took a million turns in a row. That's okay, we've got him now. Back under control.
Are you gonna keep Beacon so you can get Ferris?
Nah. For this run, Ferris is only going to have that one battle.
Got it.
But I do want to do a run where I include Ferris at some point. In fact, whenever I do finally cover the original game on this channel instead of a mod of it, I was planning on doing a run where I unite the namers. The final party will be Rada, Donovan, and Ferris.
Can you give Ferris the wizard skill, and can he actually cast magic, or
Only through modding. He can't learn it normally.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I recall...
Story-wise, I'm like, he's supposed to be a wizard, but he can't cast magic.
Yeah, and I saw some people online say the story reason for that would be, well, he cast stupidity on himself and forgot. And I'm like, I don't know. I think there are a lot of things about his skill set that don't make a lot of sense, like him being a super great warrior and ranger and stuff, and those were all things I changed in both the patch and A+. Just to make his moveset more fitting for him.
I thought, yeah, the stupidity thing was why he was talking in rhymes and riddles at first.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
Like,
and
now he speaks normal. Now he should be able to cast magic again, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Possibly. I don't even necessarily know if, like, that was the source of his rhyming. Because... It's hard to tell, because Aileron does kind of smack him with some kind of magic in the scene where he stops rhyming, finally. But it's also hard to tell whether, like, he was just doing it on purpose or not. It's like, one of the things I always thought was funny in the Banjo-Kazooie series was that in the first one, Gruntilda talks in rhymes the entire time and never lets up. And then at this early on in the second one, her sisters tell her to knock it off because it's annoying, and she's like, okay, fine. Meaning she was just consciously choosing to rhyme rather than it just being a quirk of hers. Whether Ferris is the same way or not, I guess is up for debate. But anyway, yeah, you can't teach him Wizard under normal circumstances. I think the only skills he can learn in the original are, like, Healer, Mechanic, and Shield, I want to say. Even though he can't hold a shield. Like, it doesn't visibly appear in his hands when you do. He's a weird guy. We were never meant to keep him. Does my heart good to see a direwolf fleeing this early in the game. Oh, sounds like Discord's having issues again. I heard a sort of downtrodden badunk noise. I don't think I've ever used healer while Aileron had a bow. It's just like a healing arrow shoots him. Good old technical difficulty. 1 sec. Direwolf has fled. Yay! Oh, I guess we could also go in, like, a channel that allows more people. Here, hold on. So, like, looky, if we go in the Wizard School channel, that means Mdalos could come in here too if he likes. I don't know if anyone heard anything I said. I took care of those guys. Oh, squirrels. There's more stuff to do in the cave.
That was.
But
the joys of being on the other side of the world, I suppose.
Possibly. Seemed like it was stable for a good little bit there. But yeah, I went into Taillock once, so if Mdalos wants to come in, he can, and maybe, like, cause more technical difficulties for all we know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're in the wizard school now. Okay.
There's this guy.
Is he there? This bug is already easily fixed. Oh, that was him posting yesterday. Is he online?
I have no idea.
That'd be great to have another person.
If he's still, watching or not, I have no clue. Looks like it's been a bit since he said anything in the chat. Oh wait, no, there he is. Too much Chaos Warriors here for me to BC. Oh, okay. That's alright. He says it's not opportune, I guess. I guess that means it's noisy on his end.
Yeah,
He does have kids, I'm aware of this.
I don't have any of those that I'm aware of.
Me neither. I'm a worthless human. 5 sons. My goodness. That does sound like mayhem.
Oh, wow. Wait till they all turn teenagers. Too much hormones, testosterone. No,
For real.
But I'm sorry, where was I I'm not sure where I got cut off. What I was saying. What we were talking about.
I was talking about Ferris, and it was how he's a weird dude, and you're not meant to keep him, and there are only certain skills he can learn, and then I don't remember you saying anything past that point.
Oh, so yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to read all that document. Dulos, have you had a chance to look at that document, like the story and everything about like what they wanted to do with the game and whatnot? Because I'm sure maybe it'll have some of the answers in that doc. But also I was going to say just a sneak peek, quick preview, hopefully in the near future. Another one of the devs who I talked to not recently, a couple months back now, he released that other game I sent you a link to, Hallie, and I confirmed last time we talked together, I did his first initial interview, he has a bunch of old school VHS tapes with all of the recorded cutscenes recorded on the VHS tapes.
Oh, wow.
And he is, excuse me, he's in the process, because he's really busy, he actually is a teacher, I think, as well, and he is working on the side, like developing that game and a couple other projects that he's doing. But he said to me that he would work on trying to get in contact with his buddy about digitizing the VHS tapes, because he said, yeah, they ran through it, I guess an older debug version, or I'm not sure if it was the actual base game itself, but he said they played the entire game through, and every time they ran into a cutscene, they would, change the characters, and they would record each of the cutscenes in its entirety, so they would have that as documentation and whatnot. And I said that would be amazing, because depending on what part of when of the game's development all those cutscenes were recorded, that could show us a lot of important details maybe that were missed, since a lot of cutscenes probably that didn't make it into the final game. We could see them, like what was it, the Illusion Forest version of the game, Forest of Illusions version of the game. We were kind of able to see that dream sequence right before you go into Shemshuk's tower with Auron and everybody.
Yeah, I remember you posted the footage of that you had, but that does sound amazing, because we don't know how many cutscenes might have gotten removed or just not fully implemented into the game that would come up in those VHS tapes. So, yeah, getting that immortalized online would be fantastic.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll arise soon, but sometime in the future, that'll be the next video that's going to be coming up, hopefully.
Looking forward to it. Whether I'll have time to watch it when it does come up or not is another thing entirely.
Yeah.
I keep busy with way too many things.
Hey, you're posting a lot of video. I see your channel of a couple different games. I kind of checked out one of the Mario mods. That reminded me that the Super Mario mods are really cool.
They're a lot of fun. It is a bit much, but the way I handle my recordings, it's not such a big deal, because if anything, I worry I'm putting out too much content for my people to watch, because 3 series going on, that's 3 videos every day, and that's a lot. I don't really know what it's like for people on the outside looking in, but it's not too much for me, because I record in batches, and just a few days a week I get the footage I need and chop it up, and away it goes.
Nice. I'm just yeah, I wanted to do some other things for games, but yeah, time-wise, Aidyn's the only thing I currently have, and then the only actual like full-blown games I've recently been playing, new-wise, was like Elden Ring. I haven't even played the DLC, and then the Final Fantasy 7 remake is going to come out on PC soon, hopefully. So, want to check that out, but I haven't really been playing that much. So, are you into current newer things, or are you just specifically playing older retro things?
I'm mostly an old schooler as far as things go, but like I do play more modern games on my own time on occasion. How to put this? I kind of have like a big backlog of games that I've been meaning to play for a while. I think the most recent game I've played was Crash Bandicoot's Insane Trilogy, and that's old by today's standards. But yeah, I always have like something going on the gaming side that just doesn't go on the channel. And at the moment, what that would be is I started Left 4 Dead 2 earlier this year and then promptly ran out of time to continue it, so I'll be picking that up again next year. And before that, my game database that I have on my computer, it told me to go play Final Fantasy 7 because it's a game I'd started, like the original, but never finished it. But I actually didn't own it at the time because I had borrowed my sister's copy to play it back in the day. So I ended up moving on to Left 4 Dead 2 in the meantime and seeking out a copy of FF7 to play online. I'm pretty sure it's on Steam, but I got like a hard version to play on my PS1.
Wow, so you've never finished Final Fantasy 7 before? Like,
nope. I mean, I know how it ends and all that stuff, but like my personal experience playing it stops just before the end of the first disc. Like, I think I might have gotten to the part where Aerith dies, and that's basically where I stopped playing. Not because she died or anything, I just lost interest. Got distracted with something else. Don't even remember what, it was a long time ago.
That's interesting because all the dev, well, not all, but especially Chris, the writer, he was telling me that initially Aidyn Chronicles, they were trying to, when H2O was trying to make the contract with THQ and everything, excuse me, one of the initial parameters or things that they were saying is, was because the time-wise, Quest 64 came out before Aidyn Chronicles, and they said they wanted to do something more gritty or more realistic, and I guess versus less cutesy, cartoony. Which, I mean, I think they succeeded with Aidyn. But he said that they wanted to make the Nintendo version from PlayStation. It wanted to be the Final Fantasy 7 killer, something that was, gonna take over the market and be the next best RPG and stuff.
Yeah, I remember seeing that mentioned in an article, and it's like, looking back on it, it's just so laughable considering how, like, astronomically popular FF7 became and how this just fell into obscurity almost immediately.
Yeah. Because, I mean, by the time it came out, I'm looking at it timeline-wise, Final Fantasy 7 came out in 97, 8, 9 were already out, and I think it was later in the year of 2001, Final Fantasy 10 was going to come out, just in a couple months after the Aidyn finally released. So, yeah, about that, no.
It was never going to happen.
And I mean, also, Final Fantasy VII was on 3 discs. Hardware-wise, how many cartridges would Aidyn need to have that much initial content? I mean, don't get me wrong, they shoved a lot of stuff on this one cartridge. So, but I wonder if it was going to be on multiple cartridges too, or were they just going to, one cartridge and then the next installment of Aidyn, if Aidyn blew up and was really successful, they'd put the next game on a single cartridge or whatnot. I don't know what the plan was.
I seem to recall Chris mentioning that they did run into size issues with the game, and like they were really pushing the limits of what they could fit onto an N64 cartridge, even with like the expansion pack features. And he specifically mentioned that like the animations in battle took up a lot of space, so that's why there's not too many of those. Still plenty to go around. Like, my goodness, most enemies have like a couple animations, and all the heroes have their various things. But yeah, apparently that ate up a lot of room.
That makes sense because I don't know if it was you or somebody, I think it was a Reddit post, showed images of like, instead of like, say the rat, for example, kind of stands up on its hind legs and swipes down at you to hit you. But apparently, like, the rats and the salamanders actually had mouths that were going to have like animations to actually like bite you.
Oh, wow. I don't know. Well, actually, the salamander does have a bite animation. That you just don't see it. You don't see it in the regular game because their weapon is a projectile weapon, and they never switch off of it. But I discovered when I was modding A+, that if you give them a weapon with a biting animation, they have a bite attack, and it's actually really awesome. Same with manticores.
Oh. Nice.
Actually, I'm going to heal Beacon because I don't trust this hobgoblin one bit.
Yeah. Especially
Beacon dying.
His angle from behind like that. Poor Beacon. First he's getting beaten up by the 3 goblins, and now the hobgoblin.
Run away, Beacon. Just don't die. I don't want to reset. Hobgoblins will never not be a pain.
I mean, for me, I played Final Fantasy 7 first, and then Aidyn came out later. As far as timeline-wise, I actually didn't finish Final Fantasy 7 before I got Aidyn. I played it at my friend's house, and then I beat Aidyn because I had the Nintendo 64, he had the PlayStation.
Ah.
But, like, that was back, yeah, a couple years after Aidyn came out, I think 2002 or 3. But I was curious, how did you run into Aidyn? Like, what's your story background with finding Aidyn?
Oh, goodness. My sister had this friend in high school who lived in our neighborhood, and she had gotten the game, and, her name was actually... Wait, no, it was similar to Brenna, but it wasn't... Or maybe her name was actually Brenna. She was like, hey, there's this game with this character who has my name in it, and she's like, you can try it out. And I was like, okay, I'll try it, and then I liked it so much that she let me keep it. Not a very glorious story, but, like, yeah, it was just introduced to me by a friend from high school, basically.
Hey, free game, though, from Sister's Friend, that's awesome.
Yeah!
And so...
She gave me the strategy guide, too.
The whole game, on the cartridge, I mean, on the first, in 2001 then, when it first came out?
It wasn't 2001, but... I mean, I can't remember exactly when it was, but it wasn't, like, fresh off the market. And I didn't beat it right away, either. Like, I had to come back around to it later in life. I think I got stuck at some point. Couldn't tell what I was supposed to do or where to go. The game's not super clear on that. Like, the first time I finished the game, I remember I finished it with Dog's body in my inventory, because I didn't know how to get rid of him. So, I had cleared Chaos Isle, and then stopped, and when I returned to my save file, I didn't know where to take that body or what to do with it. Not that it prevents you from finishing the game or anything, it's just hung out there. Hanging around with the corpse.
Yeah, because if you walk past Talwalk and you go straight to Terminer, yeah, it doesn't affect the innkeeper showing up if you don't bury the body, right? I don't know why the innkeeper, I think, is linked to that other guy in the inn in Talwalk, right? You gotta make sure you talk to the dude in Talwalk's inn to make the innkeeper and Terminer show up initially. Am I getting that right, or is that wrong?
I don't know about that, but, there's a guy in the inn in Talwalk that you need to talk to get into the wizard's school. If you don't talk to Gavin, you need him to vouch for you or you can't get in. But as far as like the guy, as far as Tamberlane appearing outside of his inn in Terminor, he's just there as soon as he can gain access to the place, as far as I know. Like, he doesn't have any requirements to appear.
Maybe it was just me that I'm thinking of something else. Because I remember some saves I could or I couldn't access his shop to buy stuff like the Rings of Healing.
I do know his shop becomes unavailable at some point. I don't know which plot flags cause it, but like, you can talk to him outside initially and weasel your way through the menu to get to his shop, and later on, inside he has a separate menu where you can also get to the shop, but eventually it goes away and you can't access it any longer. It's never clear exactly how or why. I just know it happens.
So much unfinished things or background things we don't know. Same with like Rabiset's asp. What are we supposed to do with the asp that we can get from the lady?
If it has any function, we're not aware of it.
Yeah.
Could even just be an item in there for flavor. It would be interesting if it had like some gameplay effects though. Like, I would have expected that it like attracts chaos monsters, so to speak. Like, maybe they're more likely to attack you when you're camping, or they show up more often on the world map or whatever. Because it's like she's marked you.
Because I mean, to make things harder, like for challenge runs or something, would be awesome. I mean, same with like if you put on the amulet of pork, you're supposed to take more physical damage, right?
You take double physical damage. It does work that way.
So I wonder if, yeah, I don't know, all speculation as far as coulda, woulda, shouldas with Aidyn. Speaking of which, though, I saw Chris was trying, they're starting up another D&D campaign online. I don't know, are you a part of the new D&D campaign, or no?
I'm in D&D campaign with him doing Avernus, because he was inspired by Baldur's Gate 3, and like he said, playing that game opened his eyes to what Dungeons & Dragons is capable of. It was something he'd never really interacted with before, despite being into tabletop for so many years, but like, he was always just on like the Dragon's Quest side of things, which is the tabletop series that inspired this game, and why so many of its mechanics are similar to how DQ works. But anyway, long story short, yeah, he's been running an Avernus campaign, and I've been a part of that. But he's also doing, like, another Aidyn campaign with a separate group, and I'm not in that one. As far as I know, he's just running the same one I already participated in. Like, he kind of used that as the test, and now it's like a module like any other D&D story that can be run.
Got it. Yeah. When, I think it's been a year now. Time flies. For 2 years? I don't know.
I've lost track of time.
Before I moved out of the States. Yeah. Before I moved out of the States, I got to sit in and kind of watch a part of the Aidyn campaign, and I wanted to participate more in it, but I literally moved to the other side of the world, so...
Well, we do it over the internet, so it's just mostly like a timing issue, I guess.
Yes, that was the biggest thing, is I didn't have, time for that.
Yeah, like, if it's early morning for you right now, then that means you would have to be, like, staying up late to participate with Chris in a normal setting for people on the East Coast and the rest of America.
Yeah, because I really wanted to talk to him more. I only got, like, the first initial interview, which was really short, and I didn't really get to get into a lot of, like, the questions I had about Aidyn, and if he would tell me about things that were in the game, like, but one of the things I even mentioned, like, he was saying he wasn't sure about some of the things. I remember him saying he didn't know if there was or there wasn't ruins right outside of Terminor, and I said there are ruins outside Terminor. What are those? Like, are they part of the old Terminor, or is that...
Well, they're Jundar ruins, we know that much. Like, you can tell just from the architecture.
And same with the cave, right outside the Jundar gate, because of that.
Yeah, like there are Jundar ruins in there too. Presumably, like the Jundar had a much greater presence in the region before they were beaten back in the war, and after they were sealed behind the gate, all that stuff they used to live in didn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
That's just my conjecture.
So,
There isn't really anything in the game to substantiate that.
yeah, I wanted to ask him, like, yeah, in-depth, like, lore-type questions and stuff, but I only got, like, a half hour with him, so I wish I had more time with him, but I was trying to set up another time, but I never got to talk to him more, unfortunately. So that's why I had thought, since you were getting to speak with him and you're part of the D&D campaign, I thought he had given you more information about, like, the story and the background, or maybe some documents or something about Aidyn, because I figured he probably has all the original information and whatnot.
I'm sure he does have it around somewhere, but how much I can't say. If he gave me anything, I have lost track of it. I've been so terrible about all this stuff. My life is like an endless stream of distractions. It's very unfortunate. And I need to, like, consciously manage them better. I don't want to get back to this guy. What?
Hey, at least you'll never be bored then.
True, that is the one advantage. I am never ever bored. There's never a lack of things to be done.
Mechanic is +2. How what makes mechanic +2 that you have?
He's wearing Tinker's gloves. I was able to get them in a shop somewhere in Aramon, I think.
Amdulo said relatable. Tinker's gloves. Oh, okay.
I like Tinker's gloves. They make those early mechanic issues no problem. That's why they're not available till late, usually.
No.
In A+, I actually switched to them with what used to be the Bardic gloves to make them available earlier. And because they have the same icon in the thing, and you can't really change that, but you just don't really know the difference if you just swap all the stats anyway, So the Bardic gloves in A+ became the Tinker's gloves, and the former Tinker's gloves became the insulated gloves that boost alchemy.
Nice.
Always something to do, and not be bored. So distractions equals relatable.
Yeah. No, I want simplicity again. I want to be bored and have time to just be bored and do nothing and get immersed in a game or something, or a book or something, and just not have to worry about life anymore, and just have time to relax and enjoy simplicity. One day again, hopefully.
Sometimes it's all a matter of just figuring out what you can swing. Because, like, even if you've got a really busy schedule, usually you can, like, eke out an hour or two here and there to get something done. And, like, the problem with me is that I've filled my schedule with things, and specifically so I don't get bored, and I'm always keeping things moving. And I have, like, little gaps to take breaks and stuff, but they tend to get eaten up because, like, some days I'll get home from work and I'll just be, like, so drained that I don't want to do anything, and then I'll take a nap, and the evening will be over before I know it, and then I won't be meeting my quotas, and I try to make up for them later, and that's where all the spare time goes. It's a really stupid system, but it does keep me productive, at least in the ways I want to be. Whether other people would call it productive or not is another story.
I mean, I'd say so.
Sad face behind happy face meme. Yes.
Amdulo, yeah.
Everything's fine. I'm not crying, you're crying.
When I am dead. I mean, he has 5 sons, so I can imagine there's always something. If something's quiet in his house, something's bad is about to happen, probably.
Yeah, really.
Loud noise in the background or something.
He'd be worried if the din was quieted. Yes.
You're up where... So,
I keep hearing people. There was a guy on the Facebook recently, and he said he was able to get Gornia's banner in the base game, and I said how, and then he stopped answering me, and I'm going, there's no way I thought in the base game you can get Gornia's banner. That's correct, right?
That's correct. You can get a cutscene where you're supposed to get it, I would assume, but it doesn't enter your inventory. And that is coming up right here, yes.
In the debug version, you can get it, and it only has like +2 to diplomacy. So I mean, it's not that.
Yeah, it's not a very important item. No serious loss of it being absent. I made it available in the patch by having Keterak drop it.
But I mean, I thought that he had some merit because he was the one that reminded me, because I don't know why I forgot, that you can stack the strength spell on top of the strength potion to equip item weapons that a character with lower strength requirement can't use, but then they can use with the spell and the potion, strength potion.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And then, yeah, he told me about the banner, and I'm going, that's not a thing, is it? That's not a, no, you can't get the banner. So...
Yep, no, you can only get the scene that says you got the banner, you don't actually get it. Also, a side note about equipping illegal items by raising strength. Careful with that, because if you save and load after doing that, your game will freeze.
Yes, yes.
Definitely useful for certain fights if you want to go there. I don't typically need to. I've been over this game so many times, it's just like it's not that challenging anymore. I don't need to use exploits in such a way. But if you did want to like equip something powerful early on, that's certainly a technique you can use. Just gotta be responsible with it.
That was going to be a question for you and Emdulos, is with your guys' modded versions of the game, is for me, being a older player of the game, that kind of keeps coming and going into the game. I have fallen into, I just know what works for me, I know what characters work for me, and I know how to, like you said, make the game more simpler and easier to get once you know the mechanics. So what should I do approaching your guys' modded versions of the game to like just try a little bit of everything? Because I don't want to just come in, and I know for me the best way is just like melee fighters is what I usually do. So what would you recommend for a new player? I mean, entering into your...
It's hard for me to say, because like I would just try to like take it as a new experience and like see what's out there, because like even if you like kick somebody out of your party, you can usually get them back later. There's very few people who are like that. You could like drop a save and then see if you want that person in your party, and then reload the save if you don't, or whatever. But like the thing to know, at least about A+, is that I went out of my way to nerf or eliminate every broken strategy I was aware of. So there are very few exploits you can use to make the game easier. It's in a way it's a hard mode for Aidyn, but it's not specifically meant to be that. It's more like a rebalance that kind of makes it tougher simply because you can't use such broken techniques as you could before. Like, one of the things you could do in the original game was just, get infinite money from, like, the gold piles or from alchemy, and get all the broken stuff out of Aramon, including pole axes you can buy off of Beacon. Pole axe is one of, like, the best weapons in the game, and you can get it, like, in the second town. It's ridiculous. It's no longer there in A+. It'll be a long time before you can find really good weapons like that just available to you. But like even just moving and hitting isn't necessarily as valuable as it was, because I gave magic to so many enemies. Like even some things you wouldn't expect to have magic kind of do. Like I gave the dexterity spell to tomb rats so they can speed themselves up in anything they happen to be partnered with. And like darkened bats can cast darkness now, and when they bite they have tapped stamina, so they're like vampire bats basically. Fun stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, there are all
And
kinds of
Ambulos
ways.
just said he made it so that Fireball can be casted. Beacon can cast Fireball, so anybody can become Wizard.
Anyone in the... I don't think everyone in this mod can become Wizard, but that is something I enabled in A+. Everybody has a school. It doesn't mean they all start with Wizard, but you can give Wizard to any character.
Nice.
And see, like, that's one way of the game actually... Wow, she survived with 1 health. Well, no, she survived with 1 plus however much endurance Rada had given her with that spell. Well, whatever. Anyway... I was going to say something. Alright, yeah. It gets a little easier in that regard, because, like, the party has more flexibility, since fighters now have wizard skills, and you can have anyone do basically anything in A+.
Except Abracam can't learn Wizard. Before Beacon and Baird couldn't use magic, now they're both elemental.
And that Hobgoblin messed us up. Alright, she's all better. Gotta fix Beacon too. I guess the other advantage of the dual healers strategy is you can use it anywhere. You can't exactly camp in a cave.
Yeah. Definitely helpful in like Shamsuk's Tower as well.
Mhm.
Other places.
Yeah, there wasn't anything I could really do to fix healer being busted, so all I did in A+ was just make it one of the more expensive skills to raise.
Everybody's level 10, but it's still the enemy difficulty and the enemy's level scales with Alaron still, right? Like, the enemies you're fighting are level 10s?
No, that's not a thing as far as I'm aware. Enemies have fixed levels in the database. So if you wanted to pace the game, you would just, like, assign levels to things based on where they're supposed to be most relevant. Like, maybe you want ogres to be slightly higher levels, so early game they're mini-bosses, but late, or mid-game they're regular enemies, basically. That's about the most you can do.
Really? Because I did a short, another guy, I feel so bad, it's been a while, but he told me that you can how do I say, when you camp right outside of Vernia, depending on what level Alaron is, you'll get ambushed by different levels of monsters. And I found that to be true. I don't know if it's just because Vernia, you come back to it later on in the game, but when I camped and I got ambushed, when I first left Vernia with my first party initially, it would be, you know, bats, rats, I got a goblin, I think. But then I used the cheat codes and I leveled up Alaron to like plus 20. And then I got ambushed right outside of Gornia by Minotaur ogres, Minotaurs and the flying blue dragons. Forgot.
Wyverns?
Wyverns. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. It's not a mechanic I was aware of, but, like, apparently, I assume then at even higher levels you can get chaos monsters outside of Gornia. Because, yeah, you're supposed to come back there later, and, like, once chaos has made their move, it makes sense that they would show up there. But, yeah, that's... Camping is, like, a separate concern from, like, the rest of the game. All of the fixed encounters and stuff, they all have fixed units in them, and their levels are all just part of their stat blocks. So, camping encounters would be the only thing that scales with your level, I assume.
Got it.
I think if it...
Maybe art.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was saying, M. Dulof said there's like 10 goblin types that all look the same, or look similar, he said.
There are a lot of goblins. Let's see. I want to say there are 4 regular goblins and 4 sergeant-type goblins, and I think that's as far as it goes before it hits hobgoblins, yeah. Because there's there are two things just called goblins, but they're two different sizes in the original. Then there are two types of goblin scouts, same thing there. And then the goblin poisoners, there are two types of them, and the goblin sergeants, there are two types of them. So yeah. And the only way you can tell them apart in the original game is by their size and equipment, basically.
Got it, got it.
But in a way, that's nice because...
say,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Is it, I was going to say, for you, for personal opinion preference, and for me, for the beginning of the game, I always give everyone just small buckler, less protection and defense, but it doesn't lower dexterity, versus giving everyone bigger shields like power shields that have higher protection defense stuff, right? But lowers the dexterity. What do you prefer? Big shields, small shields? How do you manage that in your party?
I used to prioritize keeping dexterity high because dexterity is a very important stat, arguably one of the most important stats. But as I was getting into modding and trying to slow down fast enemies to make them more tolerable, I discovered that the dexterity drop off of equipment does not affect how often you get turns. So, like, if your base dexterity stat is high enough, you don't really have to worry about lowering it because all that happens is it reduces the distance you can walk in battle. Because, like, one of the things I had tried to do was I had given the hoplite shield, the really heavy one that's like -7, to the stronger goblin poisoners to try and make them, like, less quick. But as far as I could tell, they were still taking as many actions as they ever did. Just, they didn't walk as far. And I was like, okay, so that's how that works. So I'm less scared of dex drops in that regard. Let's see if I can open some of these chests without them exploding. Alright, we got that one.
So you're just using the in-game save and reload. You don't use save states on your emulator at all?
I used to. I kind of gave up on it after a while. Because the states have their own set of issues, and like I've even heard from people who've you used save states exclusively, they would get late into the game and it would just start crashing and they didn't know why. And I was like, well, it's because Aidyn is a poorly optimized game, and whenever you load the game, it refreshes everything. So it unloads a bunch of like garbage data that piles up if you're using save states.
You couldn't get past Talwalk, he said, because save states caused my saves to crash frequently. Interesting. Are you guys using Pt.7 or what emulator are you using?
I am using Pt.7, and yeah, here this is the cutscene where you're supposed to get the banner.
Yes.
Is it really the banner? Yes, it is. Or not, except they like put it in the wrong part of the cave. I'll show you. Let's see, there's the banner. That's it, on the left. Right there. Ramsey's banner. Wow. There's also a camping scene where he's supposed to give it to you later. I don't know if the camping scene was the one that was supposed to put it in your inventory, but neither this nor that scene puts it in there. It's weird. Yeah, see, the scene happens over there, but the banner's like... Oh, I guess it disappears after the scene. It was right there before.
I'm using Pt.64 2.1. I have a 2.1 and 2.4.
I'm using 2.3. I originally tried using a higher version, but I was running into issues with it. Like, the screen would blink black every time I fired a bow or threw an object, and I was like, I cannot put up with this, it is so annoying. And I went back to the older version, which I kind of prefer anyway, because this one has a cheat menu I know how to modify.
Oh, got it. Oh, to actually put in, like, the hex cheat codes and stuff?
Yeah, like the ones that make every item available to me from the start if I wish, and the one that also enables the battle randomizer.
Got it. Dulos said he's using 1.6, even older version than both of us.
I don't know if there are any advantages to that.
Speaking of like items that do and don't get into your inventory, that are getting pulled out of your inventory, I wonder if there's something in the background happening that is correlated at all with the banner versus the items that get taken out off of your characters in your inventory when you do the barrows, because I kept hearing and looking way back in like the Reddit and even on the other forum board on the game FAQ forums that some people, we don't have a consistent method about how to keep the items from the barrows, but supposedly there's some ways to keep some of the items.
There are.
I'm trying to play around with.
It has something to do with saving and loading, but I never quite figured it out. The only one I can seem to reliably recreate it with is the Mage Drake ring, because rings are already kind of buggy on their own. Like, if you equip the Mage Drake ring as your second ring before saving and doing the thing, when you reload, it'll, like, be back in that item slot. Like, maybe it only checks to remove it from the first item slot, not the second ring slot, is basically the idea. Don't quote me on that, it's very buggy and weird.
Yeah, some people were telling me different other methods, and I can't successfully recreate a lot of the stuff they were talking about.
But yeah, the gist of it, as far as I can tell, is you save with the item in your inventory, or whether it's equipped to somebody. Wait, no, how's it go? If it's equipped to someone, then you initiate the cutscene where it's removed. If you look in the menu and you can still see like the icon for that person lit up in the save menu, then when you save and load, it will put it back on the person in their inventory. Because like it was removed from the inventory but not from the person, and since it's registered equipped to the person, it just gets put back in the inventory by reloading.
Interesting. I forgot which older version of the game I was playing, but if you like double tap the button super fast, like I did it for cloaks, and if you double tap the button really fast, you can like equip multiple cloaks at once. I remember that being a thing, and you would actually get the bonuses from wearing the different cloaks. But I was trying to make that work in the base game, but doesn't work, so I was trying to figure out a method, like how do I keep, how can we keep the mage or all the items from the barrows? I'd love to figure out a foolproof method that everybody could use.
That would be nice. I just mod them so you can keep them.
Yes.
Make them available
for
later.
Your guys' mods, you use the 1.0, not the 1.1 black cartridge edition, the 1.0 gray cartridge edition, right?
That's right, but there's no reason we couldn't use the 1.1 version. Just, it was the one available at the time whenever I was working on it, and I didn't even realize there was a second version I could have done all the modding in. Never bothered to port all that stuff over. It's kind of a lot of changes, and I don't really know an easy way to do it. Maybe once the Aidyn editor is up and running better, it would be less cumbersome. As it currently stands, I would have to copy-paste the ROM I had into the other ROM with hex editing, and when I do that, it turns all the blank spaces into, like, they're normally zeros by default, but it makes them 20s, which is, like, it's a space on the keyboard, I think, which isn't exactly the same thing, and I don't know if that would break the game or not. I'm not testing to find out. Like, Aidyn's already got enough problems without me replacing all its blank spaces with actual spaces.
Got it, yeah.
Because it's not the same character, I can't imagine it would still work out as intended.
It's still unclear to me what they changed from the gray to the black cartridge 1.0 edition. The only programmer guy that I talked to told me that there was a big major bug that I couldn't even replicate in my bugs debug, which is video that I made. Was he said if you cast a certain spell during a time of day, it would just immediately soft lock the game.
Huh.
So they changed that in the newer version, but I still feel that's just random for me. I don't know, but sometimes, yeah, I'll just get soft locked after casting spells. And I mean, not just like Frozen Doom and Wall of Bones.
That's what I was going to say, is that those trapping spells, because those are the only ones I've ever seen that cause freezes, and like, if it's dependent on time of day, that might explain it, because like, I never understood what caused those spells to soft lock. It always seemed like what happened was a character would just get stuck in an animation, but the animation never played, and the game was waiting for the animation that was never coming to finish. But anyway, yeah, if that was like, if something about the time of day would be the thing that triggers that, that would certainly explain why it was so inconsistent.
Yeah, but for me though, I couldn't replicate it because even from my knowledge, when I first played the game, I had the Nintendo 64 without the expansion pack when I first played, and I had the black cartridge edition. I bought it used, so the 1.1 edition, and I had the game soft lock me on me all kinds of different times, but casting shields like you're doing right now, or yeah, a lot of times mainly with trap spells, it definitely soft locked on me too. I remember as a kid, because this game single-handedly definitely made me like save often is the main thing. If you're about to get into battle, always save right before, so you don't lose a lot of progress.
But yeah, I don't know what necessarily is changed in the 1.1 version. And going back to what I was saying, eventually covering the original game on this channel, when I do it, I actually want to do it in that version. Because, like, they're going to, well, actually, I don't know if it'll be super wise to do it. I was going to try and kill 3 birds with one stone, basically. Play the original game on the channel, and experience the 1.1 version, and also experience it in 4 megabyte mode instead of 8, because I've always played it on 8, and I know a lot of this and that's are missing in the 8 version, or the 4 version versus the 8 version, and like the music is different in the 4 version too. So I was like, I'll just see what all these differences are all at once, but like, if I encounter a difference playing it like that, I won't know if it's due to it being 4 megabyte mode, or if it's the difference between 1.1 and 1.0. If that makes sense.
Right. The biggest one I remember is when I eventually got the expansion pack. Yes, the music was definitely different, and it freaked me out when I found a new enemy type. The Lizard King is not in the 4 megabit mode version.
Oh, really?
So,
huh.
Yeah, coming out of the tomb there and getting to find the Lizard King, and actually getting to fight 2 Lizard Kings, potentially if you leave the tomb at night. His axe. That was like the biggest like mind-blowing thing for me as a young teenager.
That's really surprising. It's like, I know it cuts back on some of the models on the overworld to reduce its like load on the N64, I guess. And that does eliminate some encounters, along with like trees and rocks and things nobody cares about. But I never would have expected it eliminated like all of the groups that an enemy like the Lizard Man King are in attendance.
Yeah, because even on another YouTube channel, it was like a promo video that, I don't know, I guess they scrapped or they never really used or something from back in the day, but it showed the Lizard King and Lizard warriors invading, trying to attack the Wraith and whatnot from the tomb right outside. Do you know what I'm talking about? That old video?
I don't think I know the video, but was that like an in-game thing or what? Because I know there's that whenever you go in the tomb, if you come out to the front after you've raided it and it's nighttime, there will be a Wraith that triggers a Lizard Man King fight, which I assume is a bug. Like it's clearly a Wraith. Wouldn't you be fighting a ghost instead?
I'll have to find the video on YouTube, but yeah, it was the animation art style is just way different that somebody posted, and yeah, it just shows them like coming out like looking like they're gonna face off, but they don't. I mean, in the qualities, it's in the 4:3 aspect ratio, and I'm going, what was this? Like, what was the story behind this? Because I don't understand. But seeing that years later, I'm going, yeah, if I would have saw that as a kid, I'm going, I didn't even have Lizard King in the 4 megabit mode when I played, so it's interesting to see that. And then Ambulos just said the 1.6 version of Project 64 is best for Aidyn Chronicles. The menu change speed is definitely faster. I noticed that a lot of versions, any emulator I played with, when you press pause and you're in the main menu, side scroll to the left or the right, it definitely seems like it's like lagging a lot.
Yeah, in my experience, it goes really fast whenever I have a small inventory, but the more things end up in there, the slower it chugs, because it has to move all these little images individually, is what I assume is the problem. But if an older version of the emulator can fix that, I would definitely be interested, because man, imagine how much time you spend just watching the screens try to scroll that stupid thing.
Yeah.
Alright, we are just about done here. There's like this guy and Keterak left, as far as I recall.
You did the Hobgoblin fight. Are you trying to explore all of the mountains then, or are you going to leave as soon as and just keep progressing, or are you exploring all of the mountain?
We finished most of the mountain last time, is the thing, so as far as I know, this last little corner is all that's left to do here. Because, like, we killed everything else in the previous stream. We could go fight some more guys that respawn across the bridges, but apart from that, I'm not super keen on doing that. I think we're in a pretty good spot as far as strength goes.
Did you talk and fight the ogre before the Hobgoblin Keterak fight, so you can go get your moon gem, or is the...
I did.
The moon gem?
But yeah, the ogre guarding the ogre cave doesn't appear until after the Keterak fight. I did fight the one on the path beforehand. 2 separate ogres you can talk to out there. I don't know that they're connected in any way, though. Like, it's kind of just foreshadowing that there happens to be one hanging around outside before the cave is accessible.
And they all want your money.
They do. Alright, these guys.
So as far as base game, you said you played the 1.0 edition when you first got it from your friend, high school friend. Was it the gray or the black cartridge?
It's the black cartridge.
You had the gray?
No, I have the black cartridge to this day. Was the black cartridge the later version or the earlier version?
No, that was the later version.
Huh.
The 1.1. It's supposed to have fixed stuff, but obviously, yeah, the game's still very buggy and needs lots of fixes still.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's been a long, long time since I played the actual hardware version, so I couldn't tell you if... I wouldn't even have been familiar enough with what happened back then to spot the differences, so to speak.
So, but in the base game version, who is your favorite? I saw that there was a tier list thing. I need to read that post too. But who is your top tier party of 4 versus your lowest tier party that people wouldn't have in your gameplay if you could?
Well, let's see. I think all 3 of the characters that I put in S rank are available early on enough to like make a party basically immediately. There was Keelan, Rada, and who was the third one? Godric. That's right. Godric, because like alchemy is simply it's so busted. You can, if you start with Rada and Godric, you can have him whip up enough buffing potions to take on the Keterak fight as your first battle and win handily. And having done that, you can sneak past everything else to get Keelan next, and then you've got your S rank party basically from the starting line. And I chose them. I'll explain more in the thread about why I chose them, but like, wizards just inherently have more advantages over fighters than anything. And if moving in is what you need them to do, you can, with the right stat investment, you can get them doing that just fine. I think fighters are, they have their place, but they just don't have as many advantages as wizards. And like, Keelan's obvious advantage is like the high thief into the high dex. Just starting with her dex maxed makes her super great. And for Rada, like, the main advantage she has over other wizards, well, first of all, she can use a shield. She's one of the very few that can. But she also has this property of her attacking, where when she attacks, she backs away from the enemy, and that puts her out of combat range with them.
Right.
And no other character has that property, so she's like unique in that way. And being able to attack and disengage is just super helpful in this game. Rada actually makes a really excellent thief for that reason.
I saw her attack right now with the sword, kind of lunge forward, but isn't it if she uses axes or poles, she kind of does the swing overhand and then backs up, right? Or
yeah,
is it for any weapon?
Yeah, what she did here was her stabbing animation. Her swinging animation is the one that causes her to back up a couple steps. Will you please stop attacking Eleanor? Okay, good.
I know. I was gonna say.
I'm like, can he get a turn and heal, please? They're like, no, we must kill him.
Oh shit.
We're fine.
One.
We're probably fine. What is your problem, guy? Jeez. Make me chug a curing potion. Good grief. Great discussion in stream, guys. You'll have to catch the rest later. GGG. Well, thanks for sticking around. You actually attended most of it.
Yeah.
Only got like 20 minutes left here. But anyway, yeah, Rada. She has that unique property, and even with that one, she still kind of moves back. So she's really good for general combat purposes. And also, enemies tend to ignore her. They'll focus on other people, and you can just kind of like send her in there while they're focused on other targets and just whip them.
Yeah, the fact that she can become a battle mage, learning thief, shield, warrior, I mean, so good, just so good. And then with combining with Alan can do what deliberation or whatever, and she can use stupidity on like ogres and stuff. Hey, top tier, S tier character.
That is the other advantage. A lot of the best, or a lot of really good spells are in the naming pool, and she has access to all of those.
I mean, don't get me wrong, at the beginning I love Abrakan because he's such higher level than everybody else when you first get him.
He definitely makes the early game easy if you're not cheesing everything.
Yeah. But I mean, the fact that once you get Beacon, he can learn Thief. So, I mean, as a warrior, and plus with his warrior and shield and everything, he can go behind enemies and smack them. Yeah. Way better. I love Beacon. And he can give me Ferris, too. Get me Ferris. So, happy about that.
Yeah, but the way I split up the tier list was that, like, there are fighters on the bottom and wizards on the top, which is a little bit hasty because, like, some characters are arguably better than some of the wizards. Like, one of the reasons I put Dougal lower in the tier list is because he's available so late that all the things that make him good just don't matter by the time you get him. But by that same token, it's like, well, doesn't that mean, like, Abrakan would arguably be a better character than Dougal? Just because Dougal would be better to bring to the final battle doesn't mean Abrakan doesn't have more utility just for being there sooner. But anyway, I didn't really take that into consideration, things like that. And the way I divided the fighters is, well, can you learn Thief or not? And the ones who can't learn Thief, they're just, nope. So Abrakan and Arturo, that's why they're bottom tier, they can't Thief. These guys are giving me a surprising amount of difficulty.
Can you change, like, any of the characteristics of the actual weapon itself? Like, can you make any weapon a magic weapon? Kind of like how, what's his name? Trahern's sword is a magic weapon, but it doesn't show its magic. Can you do that with the editor?
You can. You can change the damage types of all the weapons. And it won't say what they are in game unless you go out of your way to make it such. Like in A+, I tried to make elements more of a thing, and to tell the player what kind of damage their weapons do, I just gave them a resistance property of 0, so that theoretically, when you equip that weapon, it would give you resistance to that damage type, except the damage difference is 0%, so you just take full damage from that type. It shows on the weapon's properties, and therefore you can intuit, hopefully, that that's the type of damage it does. Like if you equipped a sword, it would say it does cutting damage, or cutting resistance 0, so you don't get any cutting resistance from it, but now you know it has a cutting property. That was the idea, at least. I already air shielded and debilitated these guys, and they're still dunking on me. What is going on? I'm at kind of strength.
Yeah.
Power up.
Oh, air shield. Everyone already has an air shield.
I'm surprised they're doing as much damage as they are, with their stats lowered as such. This fight's always weirdly tricky for some reason. Guess I could also do this.
Poisoners.
I'd rather heal. Don't feel like losing at this stage. I hate the stronger poisoners so much. I know the reason they're so busted is because they're supposed to make the initial fight impossible, and boy howdy do they ever do that. But it just makes them such a pain to deal with all the rest of the time.
What is your party composition going to be looking like moving forward, though? I mean, later on in your stream in the future, are you going to keep Brenna, or is she going to have an accident, or
Brenna's going to be sticking around. I'm doing this the way I structured what I call the full journey. It was the original stream series I did to test Aidyn Plus here. But basically, every character has like a little chunk of the game that they get to participate in, without anybody dying. Is basically the idea. So you start with Rada and Godric helps you throughout the road to Aramon. Then you trade out Godric for Beacon, and he does the Goblin Stronghold and a little bit of a lead up to Tailluak. You switch out Beacon for Abrakan in Tailluak, and then you go back and kill all the new encounters that spawned on the road to Aramon, including clearing out like the Gorgon Cave and that stuff. Then you head out down the road to Port Said. You trade out Abrakan for Arturo, and use him to clear off the whole road of all the bandits and take care of the lighthouse and stuff. Then I usually switch to Keelan before the bridge battle, so that she can get experience from it and actually be useful in it, because you don't want to bring Arturo to that thing. You need people who can, like, at least somewhat cast spells competently. This guy.
Arturo has always been, yeah, lowest F tier for me. Just low dex. I don't think he can learn Thief. Can't be a wizard.
He has the most restrictions of any character, and so, like, he's just objectively the worst by default, is basically what it amounts to.
There's another...
Wow, Alaron died,
if
but the game's still going. He died to dots.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Alright, well, we're gonna... That's his first death of this entire series, too. I don't know what went wrong at this... I don't know what went wrong with this fight, but it was just not having it. Oh well. Hard reset.
Can you guess where I'm from? Looking at your name symbols, has to be Japanese. Hajime mashite.
Alright, let's try this again. Actually, hold up a tick. I want to switch Alaron back to melee, if they're going to be this stubborn. Dude. I want to visit Japan again soon, such a beautiful country. I thought you lived in Japan. What do you call an alien? We're
No.
an investigator. Oh, you're not strong enough for that. I don't even know what the best thing for him to be using right now is. I've forgotten. Can you use this? Sure, use that. Alright.
It's wild that
again.
yeah, there's people from in Asia, and then the actual. I talked to the guy who got. He told me he purchased the two older versions, the beta alpha versions of Aidyn Chronicles, and he's from Europe, and he was the one that uploaded the two older versions. So I'm going, yeah, even though Aidyn I thought only had like a Western audience, and because in Canada, but there's people all over the world who are actually playing the game still, and that it's so cool to just hear and like right now find people all over the world that are participating or talking about it,
Yeah. It's I'm always astonished people have even heard of it, is the thing. It's just a really obscure title. And like not particularly remarkable if you aren't familiar with it. Like it's the kind of fantasy title that just goes in one ear and out the other because it's so generic.
I was gonna say, speaking of Japan, the Arturo actually reminds me of a character from.
Discord had another hiccup. I lost what you were saying about Arturo.
Character that reminds me of Arturo, and that's also kind of why I have like I never use Arturo.
Alright, I missed everything you said in between because Discord had an issue. So who is the character you were talking about?
Maybe it's my connection. No, it still shows I have.
I can hear you now.
Bars.
Man, this Doppler battle theme loops every, like, 10 seconds. Originally, you were from America. That person with a Japanese name. Just because they have a Japanese name doesn't mean they're from Japan.
Hello, hello.
Hello. I hear you.
Is it just me?
Could be. Could be anything. Who knows? Yeah, I was really hoping to finish Key Direct today. But I don't know. We're only on like 7 minutes, and these guys are being so stubborn. Oh wow, one of the assassins is fleeing. That's weird. America is a beautiful country. I can't hear you in Discord no more, Hallie. I think it must have broken or something. Oh well. Stream's almost over anyway. We can probably just leave it at that. Hopefully Alan doesn't die this time due to dots. Yeah, I don't think that'll happen this time. I took even more defensive measures. Also, did I cast Depolitician? I did already cast Depolitician. Yeah, it was good talking to you though. Finally, haha, great collab. Yeah, glad that we could pull it off. Maybe we can make it work more efficiently next time if you wish to do it again. You just keep me posted, man. I'll be here every week. For like 30 weeks. Because it's a long game, and I play it all the way. I guess I never finished what I was saying about stuff before, because, like how the party structure works. Because yeah, I get Keelan before the bridge fight, so she can help with that, and she continues to be in the party for Chaos Isle and the Road to Terminor. She gets switched out for Nathan, who helps with the bog and the tower. Ferris helps for his exactly one fight. Glad to know the time slot works for you, because that makes it easy to coordinate. But anyway, after that, I take on the beach with the party being down one, just for the extra challenge, which even then it still isn't much, because dude heroes are usually so powerful, but then they can just handle everything out there regardless. And then, using the empty party slot and kicking out Rada, I take in Baird and Donovan. Then I'll off one of those two, usually Baird, to get Sholay. Sholay helps with like the desert and the barrow and all that fun stuff until you're finally returning back. You get Dougal. He helps with the... I usually go back to fight the Dryads at that point. And there are some like new encounters that appear in the Goblin Stronghold that I like to bring Dougal along to as well. Just notice Rada's now the one who's dying. But then, you know, Dougal betrays you and you finish the game with 3 people for the added challenge of that too, because why not? Alright, we beat them. Good grief. I don't know what it is with that fight, man. It doesn't seem like it should have any special properties, but it's always harder than it should be. Also weird they dropped a broad... Oh wait, no. I guess the Goblin Assassins have broadswords as their offhand weapon. Alright, so this guy. How fast can we whoop these dudes, do you reckon? Am I able to make any other buffing potions? Defense... No, defense is basically it. We already have 4 of them anyway. Alright, well let's patch ourselves up. I want to kill Keterak before the end of the stream. Be wary of crushing death spells by Keterak. True, he does have them. Maybe I'll just kill him so fast his head will spin.
No. Yeah.
Oh, it's working again. I hear you. I would sooner believe it's just my internet being crappy because I'm stuck with Comcast where I live, and they are bad.
Oh, you can hear me. Oh, okay, okay.
I can hear you again now.
Because it keeps showing, but I can't hear what you're saying in Discord.
Huh. That's really strange. Oh well. What am I giving this strength potion to? Who's the fastest? 21, 20, 22, 22. You then. Alright, Keterak. I want to steamroll you. What? Something broke. Couldn't find Dragon Battle, Paper Mario 1000 at your door. Whoopsies. Ignore. Play a different song then. Did I really just not put that one in there? Uh-oh, Troubadour is crashing. No! Troubadour, why? It's probably just... I'll just pick a different song. I'll have to look into that one then. Don't know what went wrong. Do this one instead. Yeah, cast your spirit shields, you guys. Not gonna matter. Alright, so looks like they gave him the Chaos Maul. That's something. Who I want you attacking? Cataract, but you can't reach him. You don't have any spells yet. Going overtime to get this fight done. Chaos Maul is a +6 still damage weapon. Yeah, but low hit chance? No idea. He just did 41 damage with Crushing Death. Hey guy, that's not cool. Unfortunately, if I lose this, I'm not going to have time to try again. Oh, that's probably it then. Oh, no, he lived. He lived it. Beacon now. Survive. We'll wear out his stamina as quickly as we can. At least the other guys are only doing ones. Oh wow, if magic spell could crit, I think that is it. It does seem like crit territory. Gotta kill Kirak. Wear out his stamina. Good job, Rita. Go, Alara. Beat him. Yeah, now he's down to regular attacks. That's what I like to see. One. Think we can just mash them to death? Let's try. We'll see if any further action is required. Don't take all the turns, guys. Good grief. They're not that fast, they're just hobgoblins. Good grief, these guys. Alright, fine, I'll heal. Just a little bit. You're getting enough back attacks to cancel out his shield. When do you usually go back to get your Maze of Glory in your playthroughs? After getting Kalen? That's the smart time to do it. I usually get it after Chaos Isle, I want to say. Most of the time whenever I'm playing under challenge run rules, I'm not allowed to use the Mace of Glory that early anyway. But it's definitely a real boon to have, just because it has light embedded in it. Guarantee your solar characters are always working at optimum efficiency. And you can keep enemies busy that cast darkness while forcing them to continually cast darkness. Alright, looks like we're turning the tide here pretty well. So, it's only a matter of time. But it's interesting that they took away Kitarak's Warfang, because that means we don't know where else in the game it might appear. I look forward to meeting whichever monster or treasure chest has it inside. I hope he gave it to a monster. And A+, I gave it to the Chaos Majors. It still didn't make them threatening. Phew.
I was gonna say, with Kitarak being dead now, do we know how the percentage chance works of the other 3 guys in reserve coming in to flee is? How does that work?
I have no idea, but killing the leader does hurt morale. And Kitarak is definitely the leader in this battle, so yeah, I see one of those guys just bailed. there are all kinds of things that affect morale. It can be affected even just by like the level of HP of the heroes. Like I've found that recovering damage can cause them to get discouraged, and Troubadour seems to affect it too. Like if a character starts singing, you might be able to drive them away. But I don't really know if that's for sure, because like I kind of have a sort of confirmation bias on that, because a lot of time when I'm using Troubadour, it's in the middle of a fight on a big field where we'd already killed the leader and like all of their cohorts, and things are just coming up over the hill as reinforcements. But because they're reinforcements, that means they're already a little demoralized, so they might just be running because of the leader and not necessarily because of Troubadour. I just have one character sing so I don't have to run them across the battlefield with all the rest. But anyway, yeah. Enemy morale is a very complex algorithm. And yeah, the things I do know affect it are whether the status of the leader, the status of their health, the status of your health, and maybe Troubadour. I think level is also a factor. Like higher level enemies are less likely to flee, and the leader will never ever flee as far as I know. Like if you wanted to do a pacifist run, you would have to weaken enemies to the point where they would flee on their own and use a trapping spell on the leader to end the battle. Provided you would decide that that's not killing them. I don't think I would count it as killing them. There, it's over. No more Keter Egg. And that means next time we can hit the road. 12,000 experience for that. Yippee! What does he drop? Giant Maul, Great Axe, Partial Plate Mail, Skull Shield. Nothing too fancy in there. Yeah, we'll just pick up with this next time. Alright, good stream. I'm mad that Aileron died that time. I don't think he deserved that, but we got through it. That's going to do it for now, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you next time with more Aidyn Action Edition. Hope to see you then. Bye-bye.